In this video you will learn how you can create an amazing product design with surface modeling in Plasticity, so let's check that out. And the following lesson is just one module out of my new free surface modeling introduction course for beginners, and this course covers all the basics and fundamentals ensuring you excel in surface modeling. Starting with explaining NURBS and CAD, you will dive into the key principles of continuity and tangency. Through hands-on exercises, you will master surface modeling techniques by modeling objects like a shampoo bottle and cylinder connections. Additionally, you will get a mindset training to tackle complex projects and solve common problems like smoothing surfaces and working with lofts. And as a grand final, there's a special section on how to model a product design from scratch with all the learnings. So enroll in this free course today and start your journey in surface modeling with Plasticity. So check out the first link in the description box next to the video, and now let's dive into this tutorial. As I said, let's start with the first cylinder. For that, we always start with curves in surface modeling, most of the time. So for that, take this control point curve and just follow this shape. And just one tip, because I still sometimes see that, if you create curves and you follow the shape as here at the top, don't do this. don't create a lot of points, because the curve will have a very, very bad quality. It will not be really smooth. So really keep it with as few points as possible. So maybe 4, maybe 5, and just follow this shape here at the very top. Right? So something like that, and we can extend a little bit, because as always we will cut everything away that we don't need. The same at the bottom. So here it's already a little bit hard to understand, but this is what I meant. That's why this mental so guys, if you haven't watched the previous part till the end, if you skipped it, don't do it, because then yes, you will be able to follow me along and to recreate this and get the result, but you will not understand how you can think on your own, so you can create your own projects later. So please go back and watch those 5 minutes or however long it took me. Because we have discussed that we have this main cylinder, right? So we just look at this bottom curve kind of. So again, take the control point curve and just imagine kind of, so here at the bottom we can follow the shape, but then you just have to kind of imagine where it would be. So let me also select that image and make it again a little bit opaque. Yeah, so that looks better. You see, so we have something like that, and here doesn't add up everything, but that's fine, because again, we will just adjust it and cut it away. We just need the main form and main shape right now. So I think that's pretty understandable, and I don't know, it looks like a fish or so. This curve, I don't know. Yeah, now we have two curves. So now it's flat. So now we have to bring in volume. So we will create a cage. And this is what we are always doing with surface modeling. We create curves and then we want to build kind of volume. So we have to connect those curves. And this is, we always do either with curves, but here, because this drill is cylindrical, we can just take a circle. So take the circle and take this 2-point circle and just go from this point to this point and press V. So here, bottom right, vertical, horizontal, you can change it. So it's like this way, right? So maybe now you can see already, we could bring volume in. So first of all, we have to connect the end as well. So from here to here, press V and make sure that you're really snapping. So always press 1 and check if everything is green. Very, very important. Perfect. So we have this fish now, but we are missing kind of the third dimension, because what we could do, we could loft this and press shift and shift, but you see, it goes like inwards. It's like a very hungry fish, right? So would not work for us. So you can also select those curves and try to loft them, but then you see we are missing kind of the third dimension. So we will just add a third curve. So we make it, sorry, but we will make it a fat fish, you know, so I don't know. I don't care, I will not cut it out because I don't know, I think I enjoy that. For me it's funny, so it's also better for you. And yeah, okay, so go to top view and create again a control point curve. And snap it again to the curve, to this endpoint, and create one point, a second point, and a third point. It doesn't matter where you can create, so you can even create them somewhere here. And the last point, again, snap to the curve. And you see from the top, so very, very important, because I know that most of the people would already here be confused. So here from the top, you see that looks connected, right? But it's from the top view. But obviously from this view it's not. So again, press 1, take this point and with control click snap here, and again make sure everything is green. Perfect. So this is a very fatty fish, would be good because omega-3 good for the brain and stuff, right? Yeah. And take this point and now just try to adjust. And so here we have to guess a lot. So especially if we just have one reference image, that's oftentimes the case, but that's the whole point, right? Because the product has to be created first from sketches. So there are designers who sketch that like with Photoshop or like with the pencil, and they just have like one view or maybe a 3/4 view, but there is no 3D product. So this is the whole point of you as a designer, as a CAD designer, as a CAD modeler, to find that out, to find the right proportions, to find out the right distances out and how this is. Right? So that's a very good exercise. But yeah, something like that should be fine, right? So now you see we have kind of already a volume inside, right? Again, if that doesn't make sense what I tell you here, I don't think so, because 99% of my community is very smart. But just in case, if you don't understand what I mean with volume, over time you start to things, you will start to see volume in things, and when you're building curves. And we also have, again, as I told you in the previous modules, so our product is symmetrical. So we have to create only one half. So we don't need the other half, because we can just mirror that. So for that, again, that's the same for the circles. We don't need this whole circle. So what you also will often do is now just create a line, go to the left view and just snap on the axis. And now select this circle, because we want to cut it in half. We don't want this left side. Select the circle and search for the command cut curve. Again, below this video, again, you will find all of my shortcuts, which honestly, those are the best shortcuts in my opinion, because I work every day with surface modeling for like more than a year. And I've created hundreds and hundreds of tutorials and videos, and I experimented with everything. And if you are left-handed, then those are very optimized for speed and just to get everything in the near distance of your fingers. So right click cut curve and assign shortcut Shift Z. It's very good shortcut. So cut curve, and now select this line, right click, and now you can delete one half and do the same here. Select this, cut curve, Shift C, this line, and just delete that. And you can delete this line or just bring this out first, because we will often use it, but I don't know, sometimes it's very confusing for me, this line here, so I just bring it out. So you see, now we have this nice thing. So we can start now to bring this volume and to loft it. And so let's start with curve, curve, and curve. We select those curves and loft them. And now we just with Shift add those guiding lines, or how they are called, I don't know, I always mix that up, but again, it's just words, it doesn't mean anything. So we add those guiding lines here, and we have those building curves, okay. And now maybe someone is, oh, he did a big mistake, but yes, I did this intentionally. And again, we would have forgot something. And this is what I told you in the previous module. So the common problems and all that kind of stuff. So again, don't skip those things. Because if you would now select this sheet here with tab or 4 and press Alt X and bring it to the other side, then if I press Shift E, so Shift E is here toggle show edges command, we have this seam here. And this is what basically every beginner is in the beginning always doing wrong. And that's why I don't skip videos, because I explained that. But let's go back and do it right. So as I told you, so let me delete this line, it's confusing. So when we do something in the middle and we have in the middle curves, like those two curves are in the middle of the axis, we always have to press E and extrude them. It doesn't matter if it's a little bit or a lot, because we need the tangent information of this face, of this edge. So again, let's select this, and loft. But again, you see we have a problem. So it's again, you see it's not tangent. Why? Because we selected the curve, but the curve doesn't have a tangent information. So what we want to do is, we don't want to delete the curves. I like to stay organized. I like to keep things. So just select this curve and this curve, those two curves here, and press Ctrl G and bring, so they are now in a group, and this group I like to call BC. Again, below this video you find a PDF with my system, how I organize things, and BC building curves. So we build our main shape, and now just hide it. Perfect. Now they are here in the group, but we don't see them here. And now you see you have a black edge. And now if you take the edge, Shift curve and Shift add this edge, and if we loft it now, bam, you see we have this control G0, G1, G2. Again, we are not thinking about G2, and in this case it doesn't even needs to be, but bam, we can now G1, so we can add those circles, Shift, press OK, and now object mode, or press tab, delete those helping sheets, and select the half, Alt X mirror, bring to the other side, and you see, now our fish is coming to life. Perfect. You do it very good. And now just select all of those other curves and just drag them into BC. We don't want to delete them. Maybe, so you will need them later if you want to adjust it and all that kind of stuff, or just rebuild something. So don't delete them. Perfect. So we have our first main shape. And before we go here to our bottom shape, let's do what I told you before, is let's create here this cut. So, okay, maybe I have to explain this a little bit. So, you know, here this power drill. So you see where my mouse is all of those area is always this surface kind of. So we have, yes, we have some details here, some cuts, but again, ignore them. But you see a massive change comes here with this edge. So then the surface starts to go here inside. So that is just a sign for us. We have to cut our main cylinder here, because from here, so till this point, we have our cylinder, but here something changes. So we will have to do this with surface modeling, and the same here at the bottom. So we will have our cylinder, and then we will have to cut it here, because you see at the bottom we have this curve and we have like that, but step by step. Okay. So that just exactly means we will do that and just execute. So again, we will create a control point curve, and just create a few points, doesn't matter. Something like that. And I just like to bring those curves to the front so we can see them better. And now press 1 and now just adjust the points and just follow this edge or this, let me translate that. It's like Kante in German. Okay, yes, edge. So we have something like that. And now, so we don't want to cut it till here, because also again, if we check that out, so here we have this edge till this point, and here we can just create a line down, because here again starts this other edge. So we can perfectly just cut it here. Again, maybe, I don't know, I'm explaining in this tutorial like extremely like down to the detail, right? So maybe a lot of you, it's maybe too small, but again, it's an introduction to surface modeling, and I think I do the right thing here. And also, just so if you don't understand like where to put curves and lines, guys, this is absolutely normal, right? So you have to practice, you have to learn, you have to watch other tutorials and courses then and practice on your own. And with time, it will become natural. Again, what we discussed in the mindset training, the more you practice, the more things become natural, the more things you just see better, right? So create a line, Shift A, and just snap to this point and just drag that down. Now we want to use this curve to cut. So select both of them and join them with J. And now just see, cut into our surface, right click, and you literally can delete this whole piece here. And this curve, you don't delete it. Maybe you will need it. So but this curve is not a cutting curve, right? It's not a building curve. We cut it with this curve. So again, select the curve, press Ctrl G, and call this CC. CC cutting curve. And hide it. Bam. And that looks beautiful. Again, just to repeat, because repetition is important, we build the main form and start to cut things away. So let's do now the same at the bottom. Again, we don't look at any details. We don't look right now here at this end, because we have to close it manually, and I will show you such a beautiful technique. No one shows you that. And how to create this kind of, because those ends, when like a cylinder gets to a point as here at the end, it's very tricky, and there are a lot of techniques how to achieve that, but 99% of them don't give you like the exact results, but I will show you how to get it exactly. And yeah, but let's first start here with the cylinder. Again, control point curve, and just here, start very, very simple. Just follow this shape here, this handle, like that. And here also at the bottom, again, you don't look at any curved crazy surfaces here, because you see this whole area. So this area looks kind of special. So a little bit kind of, I don't know, out of place, right? But we have here this main cylinder. Okay, so we focus on this one first. So control point curve again, and just follow the shape, and maybe make it a little bit shorter. We don't have to go that high, because we will cut anyway most of it away, or something like that. And here, now again, we have to create a volume. What we did before is we took the 2-point circle and just went from here to this point, kind of, right? So yeah, I know it doesn't work right now, but we could make this, but it would be wrong, because we have to a little bit imagine the handle, but the handle wouldn't be circular. It wouldn't look good, wouldn't make much sense. So we have to squeeze it a little bit. And we can do this now with some curves. But again, first of all, no matter what, those curves, they need to be extruded to the other side in the middle. So press E and just extrude them. And put those curves with Shift again into BC. We need here in the middle those edges. If we would loft them, you see now you can loft them. So, I mean, select one by one, press L for loft. And you see we have G1 because otherwise what it would be G0 because the curve doesn't have tangent info. So G1, and now there are a few different ways. So I just want to keep it a little bit simple. So we can just loft it here and press, because right now it's just too thin. So you can press D, go to the top view, press D for tension, and you see now with your mouse dragging, you can increase the tension a little bit. But the problem with this approach is so let me just press D and just increase the tension a lot. And then you see here from the left view, at the bottom, it's a very different distance than at the top. So if you bring this now also down here, so it's kind of the right distance, but you see it just like tapers. But if you imagine here this handle, so this little piece, it's kind of round. So not a circular round, but it's not tapering down. So it's just a little bit tapering down towards the bottom. So that means it's better if we create and have more control of what it has to achieve. So what we can do is we can start to build here some curves. So you can do this with control point curves, or we just take those edges and press or select, press F, and here command bridge edge. Guys, bridge edge, put it on Shift B, because bridge edge, and you only need the bridge edge command because bridge edge does everything the same as those others, more or less. And you use it all the time in surface modeling. So just put it on Shift B. Bam. Shift B. And you see we are constructing a curve, but it's on the wrong side. So just select the side and this side and bring it to the right side. And also it's G2. Again, I told you, don't think about G2 as a beginner. So go to G1 and G1. And now we have to guess a little bit. And for that, we go to the top view and press D again. And just extrude it to somewhere here. So again, we really have to guess. And I try as good as I can. But if you would do like a client job, or you would work on your own project, so you have just more time, because it's like this course is already like 7 or 8 hours. But take more time and try one distance, then try to loft, what we will do in a second. If you don't like the aesthetics, if you don't like the proportions, just go a few steps back, just make it again. So maybe we would have to do it again. Maybe I messed up here something, but I don't think so. The same for the bottom. Select the bottom edge with 2, select Shift B, bridge edge command, and again change the sides, and again G1, go to the top view, and now with D just adjust it so it's maybe a little bit less. So we have to see how it goes. So something like that. And now also what we did here at the top, I think that we need, so you could now start to loft those 2 curves. So loft them, and with Shift and Shift, bam, G1, you see everything looks beautiful. But you see this line just goes straight to, so those 2 curves are just, if you loft them, they are connecting in a straight way. And here now we are just pushing them, so we can then later mirror that. But I want to add one more curve, just to give here a little tiny bit of a rounding, right? So just to make it a little bit more aesthetical pleasing. So for that, we can go here It doesn't matter where we go. So just select line, Shift A, and just snap it here to the middle and snap it here to the middle. So now we have kind of our loft, right? So now Shift S. So Shift S is the command for, raise degree, but I don't like this word, raise degree. No human in this world understands it. It was prior subdivide, and subdivide, we all know what this means, especially if you come from polygons. So Shift S, we can subdivide or raise degree. I honestly don't like it. I don't know, let me know. But Shift S, and we can create 1 point. And I just like to add twice subdivision, so Shift S again. So we have 2 points in the middle, because now if you press G and you just bring them out a little bit, it has a little bit of a better curve. So let me maybe explain that. So if we would just take 1 point, okay, in this example doesn't matter, but in some examples, so if we bring it out this way, this is with 1 point, okay? So let me just, don't follow along, I will just show it to you. So if I would create a second curve, the exact same, and Shift S and Shift S twice this time, and if I bring this curve to the same distance, so first of all, you see it has a different difference, but you could bring it just closer, so it's kind of the same curve. But if we have 2 points, we can do something cool. We can press S, scale, and just scale them a little bit apart. You see, and this way we can have even more control over the curvature, the circular shape of the curve. Again, if you're a beginner, you really don't need this. I just wanted to show it to you just as like a little tip. But let's keep things simple. So from line to line, because I don't want to give you too much information here as a beginner, because it might get confusing, but because this is already absolutely not a super beginner. But so we have to connect it, and Shift S, we are subdivided once. And this point, we just, with G, just bring it a little tiny bit out. Perfect. And now we do exactly the same. Make sure you don't have a curve. Make sure you have a black edge. And Shift, 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 loft, Shift click this guiding light at the top and at the bottom. Absolutely beautiful. Delete those helping sheets. Select those curves and put them all into BC. And you see we have an absolute beautiful shape, as I would say. In my very honest opinion, I think we are a little bit too thin, right? So that's the point. That's why I will not cut it out. I want to show it to you. And again, we would have to go back. We can't work parametric, but again, it would take us if you would do it on your own, it would take you like 30 seconds. So don't understand why people always want parametric, because you can do everything here. So just go a very few steps back and delete this curve for now, and just select those points and those points with Shift. And very important, go to the left view and with G, only here on the green axis. So don't go top or down. So select those 4 control vertices, and with G, just bring them a little bit more out. So we just make it a little bit larger. And again, Shift A, align, and from middle to middle, and Shift S to subdivide or raise degree. And just take this point with G, just bring it a little bit out to bring a little bit of a curve. And do the same, Shift, 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 loft, Shift, Shift, okay. Delete this sheet, press 2, select all the curves, bring them into BC. It took like 5 seconds if we would do it without explanation. So we have our bottom cylinder, and now comes the magic part. Because now we have to close this. So now we have to connect this. And first of all, again, so before we start to connect, first we want to adjust our main shape here. And for that, I will create a curve. And you see, so this edge here gets to this point, right? So we have to cut it at this point. And also we see here this handle, it has like this curvature, so it goes like into this direction, but at some point it changes the direction. So again, if we analyze it, so somewhere here would be the next point and would be the next point. And man, guys, I don't know, those tips are like, I don't know, I would wish I would learn with something like that. It would just save like half of a year, you know, like how to find the right points, how to connect that. Because now we have 2 points and we need a third point to create a very straight line if you knew it from math in the school. And here again, so we have this curve here which goes like that, till this direction. And here at this point, we start to get into this direction, right? So again, here, a blue point. And now you even see here in the shadow that it has kind of a curvature here, right? So what we will do now is just we will create a curve which will go this way, and we will just cut this thing away. And then we have everything what we need. So let's just exactly do that. Maybe zoom in a little bit. Again, control point curve and just create a few points. Doesn't matter exactly where, because right click, create, put the curve a little bit to the front, and now press 1 and just adjust it. So here has to be one of those points here and somewhere here, I would say. Again, it would take some experimentation. Sometimes it's not 100% quite exact. I mean, sometimes it has to be like this, or sometimes it has to be like this, or here at the bottom, sometimes it has to be like this or this. So it's like very, very small adjustments that you have sometimes to do, but this is the absolute correct general 99% way. And again, select this curve, press C, bam, cut into the surface, delete this piece, take this curve and put it into into cut curve, into CC. Perfect, so we are almost done, guys, because now we have the most important thing established already. We have the main forms, and now we just have to connect and close this hole. And how can we close it? So maybe someone just tries to loft that. So yes, you can loft that. And okay, so maybe here you put G0 and maybe you think, oh man, that's so easy. That's exactly what I want. And a lot of beginner would think that and say that, because again, they don't know how to see. They don't see that this is massively, dramatically, exactly not what we want. This is absolutely wrong. But yeah, so we will do it the right way. So here at the bottom, it actually looks pretty good. But then we break this shape here. This is what gives like this whole thing this interesting form. So we are just missing this whole middle piece. So in the next module, let's create some high quality curves. And if you found that lesson helpful and you want to learn more about surface modeling, check out my free course with over 40 modules explaining everything about surface modeling that you need as a beginner. So sign up today with the first link in the description box next to the video, and I hope I can see you in there. Have a nice day. Bye.